His letter, naturally. Here it is. I'm going to ask Colonel Hardy to read it.
What's this?
Careful, Colonel. It's keepsake with me.
Oh, well, all right,
read it, and then that's all I got to say. It wasn't for Madeleine and Philip, and I know they're loving each other and separating.
Great heavens, man. Say, who's crazy? You or I, Milkshanks? Milkshanks.
What is it, Colonel?
Read it, Colonel Hardy.
Yes. Executive Mansion, Washington, April 11th, 1865. Mr. Milton Shanks, Millville. Dear Milt, Lee's surrender ends it all. I cannot think of you without a sense of guilt, but it had to be. I alone know what you did, and even more, what you endured. I cannot reward you. Man cannot reward anything worthwhile. There's only one who can. I send you a flag handkerchief.
This is it.
It is not new, but you will prize it the more for that. I hope to shake your hand sometime. Your friend, A. Lincoln.
Lincoln? Abraham Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Colonel, do you recollect the time you drove me to the train in March of 61?
Very well. You went to look at cattle.
That's what I told you. I was called to Washington by Lincoln. And 2 days later, at night, in his library, White House, he walked over toward the window, and without turning around, he says, Milt? That's funny. I remember a clock ticking on the mantelpiece. I says, Mr. President, Milt, how much do you love your country? Well, I calculate I'd die for it, I says. Oh, thousands of boys is crying to do that. Then he turned round. Would you give up something more in life? Try me, he says. The president run his hands through his hair and went on. It means to be odious in the eyes of men and women. To eat your heart out, alone, for you can't tell your wife, nor child, nor friend. Go on, it says. The Southern sympathizers is organizing in our state really worse than the soldiers. I want you to join them Knights of the Golden Circle, to be one of them, a copperhead, their leader if you can. I need you, Milt. Your country needs you. Hadn't been 2 minutes since he was laughing, but he lifted his hands, and it seemed we was the only folks in the world. And that clock, it's funny I remember that. I'll do it, I says. He took a little flag out of his pocket, like as not this very one, and put it on the table, like I'm putting it. As chief magistrate of the nation, I muster you into the nation's service, he said. He took my hand and laid it where the blue is and all the stars, and put his hand over mine and said nothing. Just looked in my eyes and looked. Well, I joined them. The Knights of the Golden Circle, what you folks calls copperheads. It was terrible when I couldn't tell the boy when he marched off. 16, you know. Blue eyes.
Oh, Grandpa, dear.
Well, it ruined the governor that pardoned me out of Joliet where I was convicted to, but I always figured he had his orders from Washington, same as me, and couldn't talk about it. And even when Vicksburg come and Joe was dead, why, the war wasn't over.
Oh, but confounded Milton, all these years we've despised you. Why haven't you told?
Told who? Couldn't tell Joey or his mother. And with them gone, everything else seems so useless. It's only now when it's separating her and Philip and is spoiling her election to the school board.
Her election? Doggone it, Milt. That story'd elect a wooden Indian.
Come here, Milt.
Why, Newt, what you trying to do?
Take that coat off, Milt.
This coat I'm wearing don't belong to me.
Why, no, not your grand army coat.
Get in it. Here's the hat. There. Bring him down to that meeting tonight. I may be a darn fool, but by gosh, I ain't no skunk.
Oh, Grandpa.
The blue.
Put the hat on, Milt.
In the corner on it. If there was only a looking glass. Say, you sure it's all right now for me to wear this?
I'm darned if I know. Who's got a better right, Milt?
Thank you, Tom. Lord, it's wonderful to have friends again.
Performances we've ever had on the MGM Theater of the Air. And now, here's Mr. Lionel Barrymore as himself.
Tomorrow, the world will celebrate Armistice Day. 20 years have passed in which the rulers of nations have had time to digest the lesson of those 4 horrible years of heartache and strife. Now, here's my personal prayer, and I know it must be the prayer of millions and millions of other people all over the world. Please, God, let every day be Armistice Day. I hope that some of you, somewhere, have said Amen.
Next week, Joan Crawford, Margaret Sullivan, Melvin Douglas, Tony Martin, Fanny Brice, Hanley Stafford, Frank Morgan, Meredith Willson, and yours truly. This is Bob Young saying good night until next Thursday. Be sure and see MGM's new thrilling romantic drama, The Great Waltz. Good night.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
This is KFI Los Angeles.